No shit, ladies and gentlemen, how you doing up there? This is Intergalactic Interviews, and this is episode 171. We are here, we are alive. What's going on, folks? How you doing out there? Did you have a fantastic week? I had an amazing week. We had an amazing long weekend. It was absolutely spectacular. Still buzzing from our last week's episode with the great Joe McNeely, aka Mr. Archive. What a resource, a tremendous human that guy is. And speaking of tremendous humans and amazing resources, this guest today, I have to say, we have a very cool first encounter that we'll get into here in a moment. But just to quickly introduce you, so everyone knows exactly who we're speaking to. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. An energetic entrepreneur. It's a little alliteration for you there. Got that? A little energetic entrepreneur, an enigma within his own industry of just pure dedication and talent. Without further ado, please welcome to the show, Angelo Muro.
Thank you very much, Jayme.
Did you like that ethnic slant?
You hit it pretty good, actually.
How do you spell that? His
last name. How do you spell it?
M-U-R-O.
M-U-R Muro.
Muro. Yeah, very good.
Yeah. It's Italian. I don't know if you know this, but it's obvious, right? It's made at this point. But I should point out that you are the founder and owner of Pinball Vancouver. And what does that mean? That means you own many machines. How many machines do you own across Vancouver, pinball machines?
It's about 150.
150 pinball machines. So just to be clear, this is how C-Mart and I
met. Many machines.
This is how we met Angelo. We go for drinks after. It was a couple weeks ago after the core episode, actually. And we were hanging out with Dan Garrison and G-Tone and
at the American.
And Ronnie, and we're like hanging out, having some drinks at the American. And then there's this whole awesome, I think actually back when it used to be the Electric Owl, it used to be a stage, if I remember. I think I performed that, I can't remember. Mm-hmm. But there's like this whole row of pinball machines, and I was like, C-Mart, I want to go play. Now, I am the kind of guy who just plays shitty. Like
TNG only, let's be honest.
Yeah, I saw there's
if he sees Star Trek, he's enamored.
Right away. I was like, oh, Star Trek Next Generation, I'm playing this. So I walk up there, and the machine next to me, I don't even remember what the one was next to me. Do you remember, Angela?
They've been shuffled twice since then. So.
Wow, okay, I didn't even know that was a thing. Okay, so
machine shuffling.
The machine next to me, though, was out of order or something. And what happened was, like, I'm playing. I think I'm playing. I'm so terrible. But as I literally just put my hands on the bumpers or whatever, the buttons, this dude walks up to the out of order machine beside me, and he's just like, "Hey, you picked a nice machine." And I was like, "Oh, cool. Like, who's this guy?" Like, I have no idea. And then he just lifts the hood of the table like it's like a Corvette or something, and just reaches in, just immediately starts up, fixes an immediate such a quick succession. I was totally blown away by this, and I was like, wait, who are you? Like, who just does this? Turns out he owns all the goddamn machines. So right away, C-Mart and I chatted him up, and that's Angelo, and he's here now, and we want to talk a little bit about this whole world that I've always been fascinated with as a kid and into my adult life, but I know zero about. I don't know anything about it other than, like, I put quarters in and I suck. Like, that is the bottom level we're dealing with. Is that okay? Can we start at that level?
You put loonies and toonies, not quarters.
Well, I'm talking from
it's not a cheapo machine.
Jesus. Yeah. Angelo's like, this is my bread and butter. You're cutting it down.
Hold on, where are you getting quarters in?
Yeah.
What machines are you playing?
Yeah, you just reduced his profit by like 75%, basically. That's good. Okay, I just want to ask you quick. So when did you found Pinball Vancouver?
It started unintentional, as I just had too many machines in my basement, my parents' basement, and
Your parents' basement.
My parents' basement, typical. You need to get married before you move out. That's not the case, but I was probably 29 before I moved out. Anyway, I had too many machines.
This is very Italian background.
So ran out of machines, sold the machine to a guy. He wanted to buy another one. He's like, hey, instead of I buy this machine, why don't you just put it in the bar for me? I'm like, oh, okay. One thing led to another, and I ended up just having like my whole entire collection out there. And,
so is this a person that bought a machine to put it into a bar?
He was an operator.
He was like, hey, let's just like...
Yeah, he was an operator, and so...
So that's a designation there that you're the owner of these machines, but the operators, that's like a tier.
So he's an operator, and he operates other equipment such as like pool tables, right, jukeboxes,
right. Okay.
that
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Sorry, just terminology. I want to know what the
right.
fuck I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah. So he said, why not put another one? And I mean, the thought was, it wasn't just okay, let's do it. I said, oh well, I thought about it. You know what? Let's do it because there is no pinball. Like the reason why I had so many machines is because there was none to play. And I wanted to play pinball. I discovered it probably when I was around 21.
Okay.
My parents never gave me any money to play in the arcade.
Right.
And I wouldn't pay any money to play in the arcade because that was the way I was brought up. Save your money. That's it.
Of course.
So.
So you grew a collection over like 8 years.
No, rapidly.
Rapidly. Well, I mean, from 21 to 29.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. So fair enough. Yeah.
My bad math. Don't worry.
Yeah. No, that's true. So I basically, within about a year, I had all the top pinball machines.
Oh, so it's not like you.
Yeah, it was. I feel like it was rapid.
It was like quite rapid. I'd say like maybe a year and a half. I was just finding them, fixing them up.
Yeah.
This is what I do on my Friday and Saturday night. And I would be very particular on how they look and how they play.
Yeah.
And so people would find out. Like I joined this club and the pinball club essentially. And so these people we host these pinball nights and people come over. And then when I first hosted, like, oh wow, like these are really nice machines and they play great.
Wow.
Like can is this for sale? I'm like no, not really. And he's like, well, I'll offer you this much. I'm like, okay. Like I'm thinking in my head like I paid half that, right?
Oh really?
So I was like, sure, if you want it, like it's yours. And I would just use that money and I'd buy 2 more machines. And I just kept on doing that. And so, because labor was free for me, it was fun, right?
Yeah,
so if you
course.
actually thought about it, yeah.
Is that refurbishing? Like, are you kind of like taking a machine that's worth X and then making it worth X plus 2 because you've kind of done the work to...
Yeah, it's like taking a car that maybe doesn't even run and you could just fix it up a bit and get it running, or you could take it all apart, either put a new motor in or just completely rebuild the motor. I like to completely rebuild the motor so it's the original motor. I like the original kind of things, original numbers.
Okay. Angelo guy is basically like love it or list it, for pinball. He's like, I'm gonna flip this pinball.
No, but it makes sense.
That's pretty awesome. So you've been basically growing this pinball empire.
Yep.
And just it started from a few machines, and you just keep building it up.
I kept on building up. Yeah.
So at 29, you finally get in touch with this operator, and you're like, you have too many machines.
Yep.
You're like, okay, let's move them to this guy's. You get a bar.
I figured that all my pinball friends were like in their 40s, 50s, 60s. And so they were cool to talk about pinball, but that's where it ended. You couldn't talk about like your weekend because it's a different lifestyle, right? Like I was in my mid-late 20s and, like it's just different things. So I was like, if I put them out, maybe I can find people my age that will like pinball.
Right. Because that's an interesting dynamic to be the young guy with all the machines,
Totally.
essentially.
Yeah.
And then like have the enthusiasts be like, a couple generations removed at some point.
Absolutely,
right?
yeah. So it was weird. It was cool because these guys, especially one guy named Dale, he was just like the guru, right?
Yeah.
I treated him like my father, right? And he was just like, he just knew everything. And he gave me a lot of respect for the older machines, which I didn't before. Like we're talking the ones that are electromechanical that just have chimes. That's what there's no speakers, there's no digital displays. They're all electromechanical. So the relays, they're reels. So the score reels are just like from 0 to 9, and there's a couple of them, right? And then they would rotate.
We're talking like old.
Yeah. So the first pinball was in 1951. Well, the first pinball with a flipper, Humpty Dumpty. And
that was the first pinball machine?
Yeah. So
Humpty Dumpty.
Humpty Dumpty. So the guy, like the flippers are normally like this.
Can you pull up
I'll try.
Yeah. See if you can find it. Humpty Dumpty
pinball
machine.
It'll come up.
Yeah.
And so the guy though, he put them like up top, and they were like opposite. They were like this.
So they're like they're just for our audio listeners. They're like basically parallel to each other, but they're up top. You said
up top and facing in the opposite direction they would normally.
I see. Okay. Yeah.
So you're gonna hit them up, but they're just gonna go. They're kind of flailing. And because before pinball was like, I don't know, a 20s and the 30s thing. They were like gobble holes.
Is this at all?
Is this the
That's it. See the flippers? They're small.
Sorry, I'll...
For our audio listeners, if you just simply Google, I don't know what C-Mart looked up here, but...
sorry.
Humpty Dumpty pinball.
Humpty Dumpty
image
pinball? Yeah, pretty straight
yeah,
up. Yeah,
you shouldn't get any bad pics or anything.
No, this one... damn. Okay, so this looks pretty cool. Yeah, it's like a yellow table.
Yeah, weird. So the flippers are not in the normal traditional spots. They're like on the sides here.
Mm-hmm.
I see. So but they're opposite as well, like you said.
So are these bumpers, or is this just like a bouncy...
Yeah. So before these flippers, it was just holes like up there and many other holes that you plunge the ball and it would kind of bounce and you would mechanically or bump the machine and help the ball out.
Whoa, physically like hit the machine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
And that's still a part of pinball now.
Well, yeah.
That's like a technique, right? Yeah,
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so there's a sensor that senses how much you're going to, and the operator can adjust that.
I see.
And so, you know, you could always want to do it a little bit, but not too much, or it would tilt your machine and then it would end your game.
Tilt. That's, right? Yeah, that's right.
Tilt.
Okay. Tilt. Yeah,
Can we just say,
sound like
look at this though. I want to focus on this for a second here. Look at this character in the center here.
Humpty Dumpty.
Just the conniving look on his face is just special when lit. Still relevant.
Yes. That was a free game back then too.
Still relevant.
That's pretty amazing. This company, it says up here, Gottlieb and Co.
Yep.
It says Chicago. Is this like the...
Chicago is the epicenter for pinball.
Okay.
Up until recently, every single pinball machine that you've played was made in Chicago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, really?
Yeah. Chicago.
Where did the epicenter move then to? Like...
It's still, I would say 95% of the pinball is still made in Chicago.
Oh, okay.
Which is by Stern Pinball. But there's kind of boutique pinballs that have opened up. And this is probably the next biggest one is Jersey Jack Pinball, and he's out of New Jersey. Right?
Wow. So this New Jersey outfit is like, it's a smaller market share compared to the rest of Chicago.
I would say less than 10%, probably 5%.
But it's still carving out a little bit that didn't exist.
He's changed it. Like this guy is like, if you want to get sidetracked, I can talk about Jersey Jack.
No such thing as being sidetracked.
Perfect.
Here. Please go ahead.
So Jersey Jack was actually the biggest distributor of Stern Pinball, which is currently still the biggest guy. Mm-hmm. And he would sell the most games. And he actually, back in the early 2000s or mid 2000s, was understanding about the home market. And because people would just sell to operators, but once that started to die down, he's like, aha, I can sell to the doctors and the lawyers. And the guys, the people that were doing, the cool thing in the mid 2000s was actually home theater. But if you had a home theater room and you had extra money, you do the man cave or a game room. Mm-hmm. And that would have a pinball machine in it. So he discovered that and he started pushing for that. He had a lot of leeway with Stern and a lot of like power as far as influences on it.
Right.
So, they made a Family Guy pinball machine. Right, yeah. And that was really successful, but it's not really appropriate for families, sometimes of kids, right? Because if you actually know what they say, like it's pretty crude things, right?
Yeah.
And so he says, this is a great layout because it was designed by a guy named Pat Lauer, which is like just an incredible designer. It's considered to be one of the best, if not the best.
Okay.
And he's like, you know what? Let's retheme this to Shrek. Like for kids, so it's family.
Oh, so it's the same table though.
Same table, yeah. Just new sound and new artwork.
Interesting.
And so they did that.
Is that common to like repurpose something like that?
It's only happened a couple times.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not like sacrilege. Does it feel like as a player, Jerry, you're like, this is
no, it's kind of, Stern did that really well actually. So it was very like the rules were the same, but the sounds were so well done that it was done really well. Yeah. And like for example, they made NASCAR. Right, pinball.
Right.
And so that wouldn't work in the European market. They're just like, why are you guys going around in circles? So,
just one left turn.
Yeah. So it's just, I believe F1 type of thing. They rethemed it to, right? Which is very easy to do. Just change the artwork a bit, and the gameplay was the same, and just maybe slightly different sounds, and that's about it. So Stern over the years started to cheap out and was cutting costs and lowering their level of quality, but upping the price. And he says, this is BS. Stop doing that. And he kind of kept on fighting for the customers and quality. And and I guess 2008 hit. They downsized even more. And so he's like, well, if you aren't going to do anything, I'll make my own pinball, and it's going to kick ass.
Damn. So it was actually built out of almost like a.
In spite of almost?
Like a Lamborghini Ferrari kind of thing.
He's like, I'm gonna and so like back then, they were around $4,500 American dollars for a pinball machine.
Wow.
Right? And he's like, I'm gonna make one, and it's gonna be essentially back then he said 65, which is an early price. Now they're about 8,500. So he just like went from a $4,500 to an $8,500 machine, and so people are like, oh, you're crazy, right? And it did take, like he said, he'd do it in a year, and it took him about 3 years, right? And millions of dollars. Like a typical game at Stern for their R&D, it's about $1 million. Wow. So when people are like, Angelo, like, oh, you like pinball? That's cool. Like, have you made your own? I'm like, no. To make it properly, like, I could retheme one. right? Just scrape some artwork. But if you want to do them properly, you need a mechanical engineer, you need software engineers, sound engineers, right? If you want to do a license, you need like someone's intellectual property, and you need a licensor for that. So it's a big deal.
Damn, that is so like.
That's what I was kind of curious about.
Yeah,
in terms of the development, like having worked in game development, obviously.
Because C-Mart's
I'm kind of curious about like pinball game development. I assume is similar but different. But I wonder, like, so when you talk about like prototypes, is that like, what is a prototype machine? Have you played many prototype machines, or like do they exist?
There's prototypes and there's early samples.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah, like in video games, like there's like.
But are they like how are they constructed? Like what is the?
So how they work in a. First, nowadays they're done in CAD. Even then, they were done in some CAD. And then when they CAD it up, they'll make what's called a foam core. So they'll make it out of foam, and then just throw around the ball, and so you can see like how the ball feels. What does it feel good, right?
Okay.
And then
with functioning flippers and everything.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, with functioning flippers, and then after that, it's called what's called a whitewood, and that is basically like a proper prototype that everything like they've custom made everything on it, but it's gonna flip the way a production game would.
Right.
And it's called a whitewood because there's no artwork on it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Right?
It's blank.
Yeah, it's a blank piece of wood,
cool. I like
right?
that.
And then they'll start
That's
drawing
cool.
on it, like, okay, there should be an insert here, and then the designer will collaborate with the artist, right? Because not only do you have art on the play field, but you have light inserts, so they have to work with the art.
That's true.
Right?
Wow, it is such a marriage.
Yes.
Of interaction between different teams, and to a level that like. I mean, even just hearing you explain that portion, I didn't really consider that before.
Yeah.
I always felt like it's almost like the artist is like the last piece, almost like it's like, you know.
He's got to be in there, right? And also another guy that you need, it's like a triangle. You also need the software guy because there you have rules, right? And, you know, for some of the listeners out there, they think, oh, it's just keeping the ball up. But just imagine like any kind of video game, there's a depth to it. And there's like, okay, there's the shoot, but then, there's a rocket launcher. And then there's like, you know, there's like different, there's very...
There's a sequence of
this. This is our first conversation we ever had when I was playing that game aforementioned a little earlier.
Yeah,
ago.
you were guiding him on the things.
Yeah, because that was another thing too. Is like I quickly passed that over, but like as you lifted up the hood on the game next to me fixing it, you're like, "This is a fun game. Oh, you should try this." And I was just like, "Okay." Like
you kind of dismissed it, to be honest. You're like, "Well,
yeah,
what does this guy know?"
First, I was like,
he sounds like he knows what he's fucking talking about. By the way,
I'm like, this is my Star Trek experience. No one's gonna take it from me. And then after I saw you pop the hood, I was like, okay, you might know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I would listen to everything he says.
Yeah, I was like, dude, I'll do anything you say. Really. Like, it's like obviously you know what you're doing. Yeah, that's interesting. I'm really fascinated by the idea that it's like this. It's almost like this very I don't know, seemingly small like subculture of gaming.
Yeah, it's niche.
Yet this like giant world of creativity and involvement where people are like, it's like I don't know anyone who's like casually into pinball. Like if you're either like into it or like you just.
I don't think that's true. I think people love to just like dabble. People love to like just like you like throw a game down and be like, oh, that's cool. What a cool
like
game.
If I see some IP on a game that I like for instance Star Trek.
Yeah.
Next generation.
Yeah, like if I see that, yeah, I'm gonna go play it. I'll try it out. But like, I don't know. I'm not like just being able to not die in 5 minutes is like a good enough for me. You know what I mean? Like I don't have that, but I would love to be into it a bit more.
I don't think pinball could exist. I mean, you can correct me when I'm wrong. Could exist without like casual dabblers. Like if it was only diehard people, I don't think you would be.
Chris has it right, actually.
Is that right?
I would say the majority of my people that play machines is from like the amateur people that like I call a jobber or someone that just walks in. Oh, this is a cool theme. They put a couple bucks in.
Yeah, that's me. Right
and they'll play and they'll play three balls and they think that's 3 games. And it's not even like they still have 2 credits or one or 2 credits left.
Yeah, the amount of times I've walked up to a machine and there's still free. Yeah. And actually, you know, it's funny you mentioned the Family Guy machine.
Yeah.
Do you have that in town right now? Tavern.
Yes.
Okay, because I was there a couple weekends ago, and that machine was up, and I ended up playing that with my fiance. And as we walked up, I was like, "Oh, must be free games tonight or something," because that one and the machine next to it had free games going for like another 2 hits by obviously 2 balls. It wasn't.
I mean, a lot of the time, if you're there early in the morning, or maybe just like after a drunk person leaves, there'll be lots of credits.
It turns out, we just stole someone's like game.
Oh, maybe someone was outside having a smoke.
Yeah. Came back in, he's like, "That was my record-setting game. Actually, you just ruined it with your terrible playing." Yeah. That was it. Because you said you have over 150 machines, right? Yeah. In your personal opinion, what's your favorite machine you own? Do you have one? Is it kind of like kids?
That's a question I get a lot, so I have a list in my head that I repeat off. And
that feels like I just asked you a stock question.
No, it's good. I think
well, it's okay, but I can give you more than a one sentence answer.
Okay,
right?
that's good. Yeah,
so my favorite pinball is whitewater. It's a common one, but it's not the hottest game, right? Whitewater for me, it's good for beginners, and it's also good for the kind of pro player because it's got a diverse rule set.
This one here?
That's exactly
Pulling this up here.
So there's 7 ramps in that game, which makes it probably the most ramps in any pinball machine, I'd say.
Show a full photo of that there. C-Mart, the third one maybe. Go there. There we go.
Oh, so it's a bad photo, but
anyway, it's not good quality.
But look at it. This is like a fucking slip and slide over here.
So this one's cool. This is Insanity Falls, it's called, and you see this big drop here.
Okay.
This right here, I think it's this guy right here.
So there's like
it's
a
designed.
rail.
It's designed to hit the glass.
Oh, really?
So the ball will come down and go whack, and you'll be like, "What just happened? Oh my god!" And
really?
It's part of the engineering. It's really cool.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty unique, right? Where it's like
that's first and only machine that I know. It's
really
designed
to like breaks the fourth wall a little bit in that, and then like it's actually like hitting.
Yeah, it shocks you, right? Like
you can see all them kind of here a bit.
Well, that's interesting here. Okay, that's
3D rendering, but that's okay.
Smart. That's better. Yeah, this one's pretty interesting. I really like it. And so this one, is there any other particular reason why you find this?
Look at this guy.
That's Wet Willie. So
is that guy's name Wet Willie?
Yeah, seriously.
Zoom in on that, dude.
If you should find the backlash, it's a really interesting backlash. So just type you can find
sorry, what were you type?
Yeah, whitewater translator, whitewater backlash. Click on one of those. Give it some nice quality.
Google is just blows.
I think I know this one.
Yeah, there you go.
This is a class. Okay.
Oh, you know this one?
I've seen this one before.
Yeah, it's 1993. It's by Dennis Norman. Yeah, he's a great designer.
I've seen this one. Is this one? Do you have one in town?
Yeah, I've got 4 of them. So
okay. I probably have seen. Probably seen your.
Yeah.
Your one.
There might be one at Tavern, actually.
I just love the casual nature that Angela just said. It's like, do you have one in town? Do you have one in town? I have 4 of them.
Look at the faces on these. I love the art on some of these things. Like, look at these.
See Bigfoot over there?
Yeah, it's a very unique art style, this one, right?
There's so many. What is this?
What a cool game, man.
There's like a car here.
Yeah.
So many random things.
Where's that? There's a chick down below, and she's just
That's interesting, man.
Oh yeah, obviously you put her up front. Right?
Yeah.
Do you have a
Granny?
Oh yeah, that's Granny. Do you have another game that you own, or that or even maybe you don't own, that you were like, oh man, I love this game? Something that's on your horizon?
There was a game I was looking for 3 years, and I finally got it about a year ago.
Wow. So your holy grail of sorts?
Of my current holy grails, yeah.
I see.
So I've been collecting for a long time now, and there's a lot of like typical holy grails, like Addams Family, Medieval Madness, which is like a 1997. It's probably one of the most expensive games there is. It's just because it's an amazing game. It's got the whole package, artwork, the humor. It's got like Tina Fey's in it for audio. Yeah, she does
a voice.
She's the damsel in distress.
Really?
Yeah, it's really cool. It's got trolls. It's got interactive castles. So, anyways, like there's all these games, and like big collectors like, oh wow, you got one of those, and, and so I've been there, done that. And they're very popular. I've got 3 of them, and they're all around. But like, I kind of been there and done that. And so like, what's not popular? What do I not see in like people's collections that's kind of cool? And there's this game. It's called TX Sector. It's from like 1987. So it's an 80s game, and 80s games by Gottlieb are like little weird, and bring up
Gottlieb was that
TX
Chicago
Sector, backlash TX Sector, TX-Sector.
And Gottlieb was that Chicago creator we saw
right.
earlier,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Which, by the way, just a side note. Yeah. Although Angela's only commented on a few games so far this episode, like specifically, I've noticed every time any game, like I could say anything to you, you know the year and you know like everything about it. That was another thing too that blew me away. Like when we first met, you're like, oh yeah, this machine, I like this machine. It's from 1992. It actually has an extra wide berth, which is very rare at the time. There's only
so wide body. Yeah.
You're like, there's only so many of these in the world. You're like, this is one of
Even that Star Trek Next Generation, it's the only one on location in BC. Like
that one I played.
Yeah, no one else has it, and there's a reason why. It's because it breaks down a lot. But I love it. I love it a lot, and that particular location, they're very good at reporting problems. So I'm always on it.
That's pretty amazing. That's pretty awesome. What's this one? This is the TX sector one you were just talking about.
So you actually had a decent quality one and just looked bad because it's just the way the game is. It's really weird.
Yeah.
And what makes it? Yeah, that's it. That's it. So go scroll up.
Okay, scroll up. Show the.
Sorry.
So what's great about this game, even for this interview here, is the music and the sound. So now you're gonna search for like just a video of it, like, or an audio track on Google. It'll come up, and the sound of it is probably my favorite sound or music and sound effects, but specifically music in any pinball machine ever.
That's right in my wheelhouse because that's what I do.
Amazing. So it's 80s, right? So think about 80s and synthesizer stuff. So pull up when you're done.
Actually, I don't know if
the
way it's currently rigged, if we could do that.
Well, we have no speakers.
But I'll tell you what I will do. If C-Mart gives me the timestamp right now, I'll throw it in.
Yes.
I'll throw it in right
totally
now. You know what? It'll have been playing this entire time we're talking.
26 minutes.
What? 26 minutes,
okay.
And it's been playing for 20 seconds already. How about that?
You can find it because the sound is, the music is so popular that people have ripped it and put it on for people to use.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So you're on the hunt for this guy, or you just got this guy?
Yeah, it took me 3 years to find one.
Right.
There was lots in Europe, like in Netherlands, and it just didn't work out for me because it was the trust thing and then shipping and I'm looking for original one. So the one I bought, I had it shipped from Montreal. It was actually imported from France. When I got it, it wasn't actually in very good shape. And it's like, I'm talking like the core was not good, right? The core is something like the playfield and like the cabinet was pretty beat up. So something that's really difficult to restore. So I wasn't really motivated. So I kind of just threw it aside and looked for another one. And then another 8 months later, I found another one in Montreal, coincidentally. And I got that, so I shipped that over.
That was the hustle the whole time. They had two the whole time. They're like, send them the first one.
So, and that one is the core is good, but it's pretty beat up, so it needs an overhaul. And my business comes first, so it's been sitting in my garage now for about a year.
How do you gauge so when you say beat up, how much of that is just the art being okay versus like can you replace a lot of the pieces, I guess?
Yeah, so one of the most important things of the game is the playfield. And the playfield is a piece of wood with art on top. And then in 1991, or prior to 1991, they would use like a lacquer, like a really thin lacquer, like a clear coat, right? So after 91, it was Williams invented this stuff called diamond plate. And basically it's like an automotive grade clear coat. And they basically... They had a prototype on a couple of games, but essentially Adam's Family was one of the first. Well, Terminator 2 technically, but anyway.
That was the first machine I ever played.
Terminator 2?
Yeah.
It's a great game.
Ever.
Yeah. Designed by Steve Ritchie in 1990.
Fucking amazing.
It's a great first game with a dot matrix display that's full size.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Wow.
I remember it being different.
So technically a couple months before that, Checkpoint, which is made by Data East, which is a crappy game, beat them, but they had a really small dot matrix display. But anyway...
we could hate all over Daddy's for a little bit on other stuff. But we'll just leave that right there. It's fine. Sorry, I interrupted you.
Where were we? Talking about the
last...
Talking about the manufactured parts.
Yes. So I'm totally getting sidetracked, but I'll tell you, because of that clear coat, now all these, after 1991, all these machines are being, pinball was made, it only lasts 2 or 3 years. And then you recoup your money, you double, triple, quadruple, whatever it is, you throw away your machine. And there's literally people that would throw it away or give it away. It would just be, they wouldn't, they'd wear out. Well, now, because of this automotive clear coat, they're not wearing out. So you think, oh, great. Well, the problem was Adam's Family had just come out in 1991, and it won Best Game 3 years in a row.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah. So, operators are buying them, and they're buying more, and they're buying more.
What?
And they're like, okay, what's the newest game? And well, there's no point in buying a new game because this game is still number one.
So that's unprecedented. It must be.
Oh, yeah. Blew away everything. That Adam's Family sold the most pinball machines out of anything ever sold. They sold 22,000.
Holy shit.
Yeah. In 94, they actually made a celebration of it, I guess, and made 1,000 gold edition ones. So,
Gold edition.
Yep, gold edition.
Do you know how many pinball machines you have to sell to be like, I think we should just start making them out of gold? And you're like,
Wow.
yeah.
Just like 40,000
Yeah,
pounds.
exactly. I have been listening to many insider phrases and terms throughout this amazing podcast so far. I think you're doing an amazing job, Angelo. At Vancouver Pinball, you guys have over 150 machines, like we were talking about earlier, and I'm blown away by the fact that you seem to know the details of all these machines, right down to like who was their artwork designer, who manufactured them, where they were manufactured, the year, etc. Very impressive. And you know this. I've seen you do this off the top of your head a number of times now. But I was wondering if you could assist us, some noobs over here. We don't know much, right? We're just a couple fellas, right? We're just guys. We don't know much. But if I say some of these pinball slangs to you, I was wondering if you'd be so kind as to indulge us.
They're probably technical terms, not
Well, I don't
slang.
know. Hey, listen, I'm not here to
see. Hopefully they're
split
not new
hairs.
ones, because there's this new guy and he's been inventing lots of them now, and so we'll see.
Oh, okay.
We'll see if
So
I'm
this
up
is
to
good.
date here.
Well, you're our resident expert. I mean, you're speaking on behalf of your entire culture. Don't worry about it. It's
Yeah,
fine.
if you screwed up, it looks really bad.
Yeah. Now I'd say I don't know most of these.
Most.
I would like to know, and this will be fair, I would like to know if C-Mart knows what his answer is along with your own, and then I'll tell you.
Oh, I've got it. Okay.
Yeah. So we'll let
go
C-Mart
first.
answer
I'll go first.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
All right. So the first one is Pinhead.
It's got to be something about a person that maybe takes it a little too seriously.
What would you say, Angelo?
Yeah, that's not a term we really use. So I would say, yeah, just an enthusiast type of person.
Enthusiast.
It
Yeah, I
actually
think-
says a pinball enthusiast. You know, even when he said he didn't know, he knew.
I feel like that one's an easy one. If you put head on anything, you're probably like, oh, that person's probably a little too invested.
All right.
Not too invested, just deaf invested.
All right. This next one, it goes like this. What's Biff? Oh, right. Biff. What is that? C-Mart first?
I'm gonna say that's the rubber, like on those on the bumpers. That's the Biff.
Let's see, Angela.
I'm like stumped, actually. I don't even know.
This might be, maybe it's like a UK thing. I don't know. Maybe they're just throwing that out there. I didn't mean to stump you. Yeah, Biff.
That is a name that a talking dummy calls you in Funhouse. Different ones he'll call
Really?
you Biff.
Okay, because it says the thing it says here. I don't know.
Rudy?
This is just some dumb article, but it says a Biff is an extra vigorous hit with a flipper. Some machines have what are called Biff bars or anti-Biff bars, metal bars placed behind the flippers with the purpose, presumably, of hindering biffing. The word Biff means to hit or strike since the late 1800s. Now, I didn't know that.
So that'll be like the UK.
That's super UK, right?
Yeah.
Is that a thing though? Like, do you have another term for that kind of like whatever that is? I don't even know if I fully understand what
I feel
that means.
bad. Like
There's two terms depending on what side it comes down. There'll be a bang back, which is one way to knock the ball back, or a death save. So
this is okay. Lay those two out because those are definitely not on this list. Wait,
I don't want people doing this on my machines. This is an illegal move.
Okay. I mean,
How do you execute that?
Allegedly.
Sorry, we don't want to talk about that.
Yeah.
Never mind. That's after hours.
But it's like he owns the machines. Like you don't want.
Yeah,
him to,
I'm curious about this though.
That's so funny. You know what? I feel bad that we've been trying to stump our guest here.
No, it's good.
I feel bad.
That's
firing.
your whole point. That's the
That was
reason-
the whole point.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna
you
lie.
feel bad. You just state the anyway.
Unless you go to the local pinball tournament and say, "Hey, what's a Biff?" and everyone's gonna look at you like,
oh, you biffing? You
Yeah.
biffing?
Yeah, you biffing, bro? Yeah.
Okay, next.
Next is Lazarus Ball.
Ooh, is that a ball?
Now-
is that a ball down the direct center? Like a ball you cannot ever fucking get?
Is that what you think it is?
That's my guess.
Okay, and I'm going to say just before Angelo answers that I think he might know just by the way he, definitely reacted to this. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah. Actually, Chris was just about on it. It is one that goes down the middle, but it's one that it bounce backs up.
That's
because
right.
Lazarus coming from the dead. I didn't know what someone said. It's the Lazarus. What does that mean? Oh, it's coming from the dead. Oh, so
Yeah.
my
It's a
friend
ball
in-
you hit yourself.
No, it's one that just drains down the middle and it just pops up by yourself. Like, holy shit! And
It
then
says
just
here,
keep going.
Oh,
a Lazarus,
interesting. Weird.
a Lazarus ball is a ball that's come back to life, passing between the flippers, but by some bit of extreme chance, gets flipped back into
How does
play.
that? How does that happen?
Amazing.
What would be? So anyway, I don't know. How does that
Physics,
occur?
son.
It goes right down the center. Anyway.
Yeah, it goes down the center and it's going to hit something. It's a weird angle or something, and it bounces back because it's hitting the arch.
Weird.
All right. How about this one? C-Mart will know this one. What's a house ball?
I assume that's a ball.
Angelo again with the.
I assume that's a ball that is like given to you for free, like somehow.
Angelo, you want to take this one?
Just the opposite. Okay. So it's one where you plunge the ball and essentially you don't get to flip it, and it just goes down the outside or down the middle without you getting to flip. That's a house ball.
That's right.
You get ripped off.
Right.
Yeah.
A house ball is one that has scored no points.
Oh.
Yeah, that's definitely the house
I
always
was
wins.
optimistic.
So technically.
It's an Angelo ball.
So technically.
Hey, now.
Unless it's a really, really old machine like from the 50s, if you actually score 0, you will get your ball back.
Oh, really?
100% of the time.
Yeah. Oh. But remember, if you score 0, so if you hit any switch, then it counts as points, and it might not give it back to you.
And some of them, I'm sure they have to touch a bumper on the way down. So like,
Is that tunable at all?
Depending on the machine, yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, like, so when you are setting up a machine, is like how? Like, this is like a broad question.
Yep.
How much of the various rules are in fact under your control?
So lots of the rules are under my control. Besides the physical, I'm talking about software.
Yeah,
lots of them are. I'm a guy that generally likes to keep to the factory settings.
Yeah, totally.
Right. But so for some games like that came out recently, like Ghostbusters, it's a little hard of a game. So
this is the remake Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Like the all-female
so
one, right?
No. It's a new pinball machine on the 1983 license.
Oh.
So it's amazing.
Oh.
I have got 3 of those because they're just so great.
Like Bill Murray and.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Custom audio from them too. It's just
Really.
It's
Awesome.
it's right on
pretty
par.
badass.
It's amazing.
That's cool.
You should try it out.
I will try it. That's
so
awesome.
There'll be like what's called a ball save. So if you drain your ball within X amount of seconds, it'll give it back to you. And I think default 6. I've increased that to 12 seconds.
Oh, really?
Just because it's like, it's such a fast game.
He's a nice guy, this Angelo guy. You gotta
he
play his
doubles up
machines.
your money.
That's right. He's trying to help you out. He's a fella. Yeah, I like it.
So it is. Yeah, interesting. Like how much? So how do you know, like per game? I'm just kind of curious. Like how do you know what's tunable and how do you know what's just like?
It's in the adjustment, so there's standard adjustments. So how many balls? Like when you start a game, you get 3. I could actually change that to 10 if I wanted to, right? And you can change all that stuff. So that's like the basic stuff, right? How many tilts you get? Because now in the modern games, you get 2 tilt warnings per ball. So the 3rd tilt would actually end your ball.
Mm-hmm. You don't want people tilting your machines, though, right?
A little bit's okay. That's fine.
That's okay?
It's encouraged.
It's encouraged.
Okay.
Okay.
Nothing too rowdy, though.
I didn't want to have this episode go out and people are just like, apparently.
Rocking them.
Yeah, you can just do what you like.
My tilt should be on them, so then there's a limit, right?
That's right.
So, yeah. I mean,
interesting. So it's more tunable than I thought.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And then there's actual game specific rules, right? So how many shots it takes to destroy something or light an extra ball or to get multi-ball. And then after you get multi-ball once, how hard is it to get into qualify again? So
how do you know, like, so when you're adjusting these, I'm kind of off on a tangent here. I'm sorry.
No.
How do you know what
good.
is tunable? Like you just get a new machine and you're like, hey, and you're not really super familiar with it, maybe. And how do you know what is under your control?
Especially the old ones.
I go under the adjustments and I probably spend about an hour looking through all the controls and I either make mental notes or I'll write them down. And then I'll play a couple games and I'll say, what did I not get? What features did I not get, or what was hard to get, or what was too easy? And so sometimes I make adjustments.
I guess he's probably
so under the adjustment, like what does that interface look like? I'm trying to understand. Like,
so when I open the coin door, there's 4 buttons, and it actually brings up a menu.
Oh.
Right, and then there's like for diagnostics, right? Then for audits, and then there's adjustments.
Oh, okay.
Right, there's utilities.
Like
the newer games you can do bass and treble as well.
Yeah. Sure.
Right.
I think C-Mart was thinking like
I just
you pop
sure.
the hood and
well, I mean, it's not
like
schematics,
schematics,
like a Game Genie, like ridiculous. Like you just have to type in shit until you fucking and there's things. But there's actually like this is what they set up.
There's a full operator menu.
Okay.
Yep.
That's cool.
Yeah, like a dev menu, like a. Dev
That's really cool.
Yep.
Nice.
You got it.
Trying to relate it to video games. He's like, wait a minute.
Well, because I know what I can tune in a video game.
Yeah,
I just trying to understand.
It's probably very similar to that. Actually.
Yeah, on some level. Yeah. Nice.
Well, I feel much smarter. No, I don't know. I actually, here's one last bonus one. Okay. Gobble hole. Angelo again with the.
Is that the side piece that just takes your ball? Because fuck that side piece that you can't ever grab because it just goes right through the side.
You better hope this is right, because Angelo's gonna eat your lunch right now.
Well, yeah, he's gonna gobble my.
Yeah. Oh boy.
What is a gobble hole, Angelo?
So.
That was a good
I
guess.
might have even. I don't know if I've even mentioned that word on the show already. But basically, back in the early pinball. There was these holes throughout. Like, remember I was talking about Humpty Dumpty? There's these holes, and they're gobble holes where they're in the game somewhere, and they just literally gobble up your ball, and that's it. That's your end of your ball.
That's crazy. Yeah, it says getting your ball in the gobble hole and the game, but also give you bonus points. This feature's not very common anymore. It says.
No, like.
Can you think of a game that has one?
Like initial machines.
We're talking 50s, so that's like something that I.
Nothing recent.
Machine.
Yeah. Maybe a Humpty Dumpty. Yeah, I don't know. You'd have to look for like Gottlieb 50s. Like that era is called wood rails because the rails are wood. So you just search for 50 wood or gobble hole.
Interesting.
It'll come up.
Let me ask you a quick question here. What is the oldest machine you own?
The oldest machine I own, I think, is it's a smart set. It's from like the 1976, so it's not super old, but it's old enough.
What's a smart set?
It's not very good. I was forced to buy it
allegedly
because there was another machine that I really wanted to buy, which is an X-Men, and the guy knew that it was the smart set's a crappy game. So
oh really? So it was like a kick-in?
So he's like, "You got to get this too." I'm like, "Can I just give you the same amount of money?" He's like, "No, you got to take this too."
You have to take it.
Yeah.
So it was like a space issue or something.
Yeah.
That's
so now it's just sitting in my garage right now. I really got to get rid of it. But other than that, I do operate a lot of late 70s, early 80s games. I've got one called Sinbad.
Like The Adventurer.
Yes, very similar to that. Yeah.
Not the popular 80s stand-up comedian.
No.
I said popular asterisk.
Yeah.
No. Okay. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. Another game called Hulk, like the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
And
like the Lou Ferrigno Hulk, or
yes,
like
Lou Ferrigno.
Okay.
Like legit.
Excellent.
Yeah. The guy that's deaf.
Yeah.
Well, I just watched a documentary.
I don't know.
I
Yeah.
never knew he was deaf. So
I just felt weird laughing at that.
Yeah. Don't
I don't know
laugh
why.
at it.
I was like, yeah, he's deaf. It's good. Yeah. I could play the sad Hulk theme on piano.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, the not to give that away, but he gets sad near one of the last episodes.
Spoilers, Jesus.
I know. Yeah, where were you 30, 40 years ago watching that? Exactly. What was the sorry, so the age of the oldest one then you have is what's the
Smart
actual,
set or just the one I'm operating? I'd say 78. 1978 are the machines that I'm operating.
Yeah. The oldest one you're like right now.
Like Joker Poker is another amazing machine actually. It's
Joker Poker?
Yeah, it's a really great machine.
Where's that one right now?
It's at Far Out Coffee Shop on Dundas Street there.
What?
Yeah, they've got like 8 machines there.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn, dude. There's so many like places here that in Vancouver that carry pinball machines that I would never have had any idea that they do. You know, you expect it at pubs and bars and stuff like that, but then like, wow, man.
One of my most favorite things, having met you like a few weeks ago or whatever, and asking the question, I got the most absurd, to my own ears, answer. I think I said like, well, how many bars do you have machines in? And you you shocked me, because I would be like, oh, like 10, and like, how many is it?
It's about 45.
Well, yeah, like if you would have said
honestly,
5.
Yeah, I know. I've been like,
yeah,
it's just,
if you said 5, I'd be like, well, you're just like the king. Like, you're 45.
Yeah, that's just like, I don't know. I mean, it's awesome. It's a number that I didn't expect to hear, because I didn't realize it was such and it makes sense, right? Like, it's awesome that you have, I mean, it obviously speaks to your ability to like maintain and have these machines, and like, I don't know, like, do you have any staff as well, or is it just you going around?
I've got people to help me out as well. Yeah. Like I work myself probably, well, if you call it full-time, so double full-time, whatever, right? 80, 90 hours a week. But then I've got a couple other guys. I've got I've got guys that specialize in certain things. So my friend, and he also works for me, Eden, he moves machines. So he's an expert in moving machines, setting them up, leveling them, right?
He's a logistics guy.
Yeah.
That's amazing, and it's a very specific set of logistics to be able to move.
He has a Grand Caravan, which is perfectly fit 2 pinball machines and covered.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's like perfectly. This guy is like the guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Nice. So he's the guy for that.
I was wondering because because it does sound like you're working all the time just to make it work. What your weekends were like, because we just had a long weekend here, and you were mentioning even like your long weekend ended up being like kind of like related to work, right? Why don't you tell everyone what you did this past weekend?
So this past weekend, I just visited a friend that recently moved back to his hometown, Seattle.
Okay.
So
which is like not too far of a drive from Vancouver here.
Oh yeah, maybe 2.5 hours.
If that, yeah. Maybe.
If there's with Seattle traffic though, if you go like when I did Friday night, it took like 4.5. Yeah.
On a long weekend though, it's like
it's
always a gamble.
It's a distance.
Yeah. But you make your way down there, and this friend is just no ordinary friend though.
No, his name's Kaylee George, and he's ranked currently third in the world.
Third in the world.
Yeah.
Now I was like, when I first heard this, I was like, well, yeah, like what, like out of 3? No, dude, like he's like hundreds of thousands.
Yeah,
like,
he's a multiple. I think he's 2-time world champion. Yeah.
Dude, that's incredible. And this is like it could be very lucrative. It could be, well,
you can win a pinball machine or something, right?
Well,
like,
I mean,
you can win maybe 10 grand at a tournament.
He works in video games also like pretty well.
Yeah.
That's what you said.
But like, just to be clear, like if he could monetize that in a way that he could like appear at other pinball tournaments and things like that, and he could be the guy. I'm trying to see potential here.
Yeah,
Angelo, I'm trying to push it.
You can't do that for a living.
No? All right.
No.
I'm trying to make him a guy. All right. Yeah. Well, he's still third overall.
Oh no, he's an amazing player. Yeah. I mean,
I turned this around. I'm like, how dare you, Angelo? He's still third in the world. You know.
But so he recently moved back from the Netherlands, back to Seattle, and so he had his machines in storage for the 4 years that he was gone, and as well as about I think 5 games that he brought back from the Netherlands. So he had a bunch of machines that were not set up yet, and they were kind of on end and like wrapped up.
So they're like, when they're stored, they're like kind of end up.
Yeah, you'll see it maybe in the editing. We can put up a picture of them because
we might actually have access to photos now. Sure. Actually, I don't know if this is this. Yeah, these are the photos, right? So
yeah.
What's going on?
I haven't clicked that.
Maybe I didn't give you the folded up ones. Oh, here's one.
Oh, okay, here we go.
There was one. So if we zoom in on there, you can see the one folded up.
Audio listeners, you want to check this one out, the timestamp on the video.
Yeah, we can put some links even.
Yeah, definitely. So they kind of come end to end like that. But you set these up this weekend?
Yeah. Yeah.
How long did that take you from set up to?
Just about 5 hours. I was actually quite happy with the speed that we did. So.
Damn. And he's got looks like a warehouse loft kind of situation.
Yeah, it's actually the old Rainier Brewery, which is really cool. It's
sick.
Right off the I-5.
Did you say there was a leveling issue where?
Yeah, so he was on the floor where they used to roll down the kegs. So his floor is like has a slow slant to it. So all the machines when we set up have to be like weirdly leveled.
Yeah, that's like not good for pinball, right?
No,
obviously.
So
certain kinds of pinball. That's advanced difficulty pinball.
By the way, this was your long weekend, just like hanging out, and you're like, may as well set up these machines. I'm here.
Well, you were saying that you don't like to be idle.
Yeah, you like to be productive.
I enjoy to be exactly productive in work, and for getting stuff forward. So we set up his workstation as well, and he'll come and visit me, and we'll just work on pinball. So we'd rather work on them, actually what we call shop them out. So shopping them out is basically stripping them down, cleaning them, re-rubbering them, and putting them all back, and then fine-tuning them.
Angela, I didn't notice that term.
Yeah, I don't know. That's probably one of the biggest pinball. Out. Yeah, shopping out. That's a pinball term.
Damn. Now I know. Shit.
I was expecting to say STDM.
What is that?
Straight down the middle.
Oh, that was the next one. It said draining. It's but you had mentioned if you hit the drain, then the ball drains right down the middle. Yeah, but STDM.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like a weird music genre.
Yeah, it sounds like anarchy punk, like 70s band. Yeah, it's good stuff. I love this. I love the fact that you're obviously so passionate about pinball. But I have a question for you.
Okay.
Predominantly, people most likely will speak to you about pinball. But I would like to know, outside of pinball, what are you into? What do you like that isn't pinball? That you're like, man, I could talk about this all day, like this other.
That's good. Yeah. My other obsession that I'm really interested in is the company, Tesla.
Tesla, the company.
Yeah.
So now, are you so into it in like a fan way, like you just want them to do well, or you're an investor and you want to
I believe in the company, so I do have stock with them. I put all my eggs in one basket.
So you have a vested interest.
Oh.
Okay,
yeah. So like disclaimer, but I love what they're doing. So like I love cars in general. I've always been a car enthusiast growing up.
Okay.
To be good for the environment is great, but it's not my core. That's a bonus.
Yeah.
Okay. I love performance and I love technology. So when you fuse the two of them together, that's like Tesla in a way.
Right.
Right. And
It's very honest of you to say that. I mean,
yeah, no, I like it. It's a great byproduct to be good for the environment and stuff. Right. And it makes me proud and happy, but that's not why I love Tesla.
it's not even like your probably top 5 reasons you like Tesla.
Yeah.
Right?
Maybe fifth or sixth.
Fifth
Yeah. So, yeah. But when the P100D came out, which was about I think 2016, mid 2016, they set the record for the quickest 0 to 60 time. So 0 to 60 meaning 0 to 60 miles an hour or 0 to 100 kilometers an hour.
Right.
In basically 2.5 seconds. And
Which is fast. Like people,
It's pretty quick.
To say that out loud, it just sounds like a bunch of numbers. But like to experience that is like.
So okay, I'll tell you what
unreal.
it's like. Basically, I'll break it down to when you hit the accelerator, not the gas, but the accelerator.
It's a man who knows his terms.
Yeah.
I like this.
You hit the juice. You got to hit the juice, right?
Yeah. Put
Yeah.
the pedal to the metal. Right.
First of all, there's regular sport mode, and then there's the for the ludicrous. So you put it in ludicrous mode. There's a button. There's a button, and it actually says ludicrous.
That sounds sponsored.
Yeah, it does sound very
No,
sponsored.
it's spelt proper ludicrous, not Luda.
Yeah, no,
Like,
Luda. Okay. Yeah.
And before that, they actually had insane mode, but then they had one better than insane, so that's Luda.
Jesus. Okay.
And I'm totally getting sidetracked, but there's one more. So just so you know, insane was just insane. Ludicrous, they needed one more, and so they actually got the word ludicrous from Spaceballs. And so when I don't know, you remember Spaceballs?
Of course, yeah.
Okay, here's a question for you now. What's after ludicrous? What's faster than ludicrous?
The speed of lint, I believe. Isn't it lint? Isn't lint the fastest?
Might be a 4-letter word, but not that. It's close.
Oh,
Is it the
I
speed
thought
of
Oh,
it was
fuck?
lint.
No.
No, don't think dirty.
No, I thought it was lint because they're like, what's faster than lint in a dryer? You ever turn a dryer on and it's like lint is automatically there?
It's something like that.
Really?
They say plaid.
Oh, plaid.
Plaid. They go,
He's gone
They
plaid.
go maximum plaid. maximum plaid.
Man.
So that's going to be reserved for the new Tesla that's coming out,
Oh my God.
the Roadster in 2020.
Wow.
So back to
Allegedly.
what it feels like when you hit the juice
Yeah.
on this bad boy. You pull off 1.2 G. So what that means, G is gravity. So if you just run and jump off a building, you're going to do 1 G. So this car accelerates faster than you jumping off a building,
Like,
but
Faster
forward.
than you fall naturally.
Yes.
yeah, but with forward momentum.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. Like, just to be clear, I'm pretty sure I might just be pulling this out, but I'm pretty sure
You definitely are.
Fighter pilots can do like a max of like 7G or something like that.
I don't know about that.
Something like that.
That sounds.
When'd you look that up?
Seems like a lot.
Because it's
Yeah, it
going to
could
be different, but yeah.
5 to 7, yeah.
See what a black like a blackbird. What's the?
F-16?
I'm thinking like X-Men.
You're thinking
Now,
it's-
Blackbird.
First of all,
Yeah.
SR-71s are not pulling Gs. First of all, they're not allowed anymore, and they don't make crazy maneuvers.
No, those stealth bombers or whatever.
Yeah, again, bombers are not making maneuvers like that.
Why? How dare you shut down my
Just saying,
dream of
just saying, fighter pilots.
7Gs like for these pilots? Okay, how dare you? No, you're right to call me into question. I don't know what I'm talking about.
But it's just unbelievable that, remember, this is a 7-seater, 4-door sedan that weighs 5,000 pounds.
Yeah, this isn't
So-
a funny
Crazy.
car.
So
or
just
a
picture
coupe
I
or
get that,
something.
and I'm like, haha, Jayme, my car's faster than yours. And you're like, okay, you're trying to one-up me now. So then you go down and knock on the door of Ferrari and say, yeah, my friend's got this. I want to beat him 0 to 60. Maybe on the track, it'll be different, like not 0 to 60, but going corners, right? Because it's
Right.
a heavy or different story. But if you want to beat me 0 to 60, you can't. And then, okay, I want to go to Lamborghini. You knock on the door. Lamborghini, like Aventador. No, this is still faster than that. This is still faster than the $1 million LaFerrari. right?
That's really crazy.
How can like a technology, small little company beat these hypercars that are $1 million?
Yeah, that have decades and decades of
I don't know
information.
if Tesla's a small company, but I know what you're saying.
Well, relative to like
no,
the
it's
big
fair.
guys, right?
Yeah,
In fact,
no,
they're still considered small because they don't even have official license from.
I mean, they're
the
going to
government
space,
to
right?
sell. They can't even sell directly to consumers
In some states.
Yeah, which is like kind of a sham in its own situation that these dealerships have like.
It's the dealerships. It's ridiculous. Yeah.
So I guess my question would be: so you like crazy car technology, you like pinball technology. Where does that kind of come from? Like, what's your background in terms of like dealing with electronics and software and that kind of stuff? Like, how did you kind of come into this like realm of interest?
Yeah, great question.
I is in my teens, I guess. I was with my friend and he was in his Camaro, and we went to Beam Riders, where it's a stereo shop, and we had this stereo, and I was like, what the hell is that? Like a 12? I don't know what 12s. 2 years ago, I got two 12s. What's that? Two 12-inch subwoofers, right?
Yeah.
And so we're in this Camaro, and just like I've never experienced bass like that because this is before I was 19. I'd never been in a proper nightclub. Like the high school dance was so then we're blowing away this. I was like, wow, this is really cool, and I love like sound and control of power and like what you can do with power. So I got into like that, and I got really heavy into car stereos. Thank God I'm not into it now, because I spent so much time and money on car stereos, and I had like I used to compete. I was competitive in I had BC's loudest street legal car in 2003.
What?
Really?
Yeah.
I love you just
Really?
had this accolade.
What a weird stat. I love that.
Yeah.
That's
How is that even? Anyway.
Yeah.
I love that. That's like not even like the fifth most interesting thing.
No, I love that.
You just about like this whole interview. You're like, oh yeah, and like, do you know how many people like if that was their thing, they would be trotting that out right away. Like,
it was 2003, so it was a while ago.
yeah, I
No,
mean,
fair enough.
It doesn't matter.
That's
it does
crazy.
Not matter.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild though.
So where did you take that then?
Yeah.
So you got that under your belt.
Yeah. Where like?
No, I'm just saying like. So how did that kind of breed into?
So I just really got into stereos, and I love electronics, and so then I started getting into home theater a bit. And again, thank God I stopped, because I was spending like way too much money on this stuff, because every year something new comes out and you got to have it. So eventually I got a little bit into pinball, and then I was like, you know what, I think this is my thing. And so I went to school for electrical engineering. And so I did my electrical engineering degree, and got
Awesome.
nailed it and got a job at Hydro. And
like BC Hydro?
BC Hydro.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, BC Hydro. The utility company for people that are outside of BC.
Yep, that's right.
And I specialized in high voltage power, like distribution, transmission and distribution, and also generation. And
You're like a first draft pick on a zombie team. For sure. Like,
Useful human.
Like without
Useful
a doubt.
human.
Yeah.
You're
TM.
like, dude, I could reset the grid. I'm like, okay, this guy is
Also in
on-
Jurassic Park, handy.
Yeah.
Handy.
Yeah, you've been some kind of
You sent Ellie Sattler. Should have sent our guest.
right, apocalypse scenario. Yeah, your first round overall for sure, right? Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
I took a bit of electrical engineering in audio college, and I hated every second of it. I was not very good at it, and I don't know. I just barely skated through. Like I'm just not very good at it.
Yeah. It was probably the 4 hardest years of my life.
It's tough, man.
Yeah.
I did this much of it. Like I did like it was just like a component of a larger program, and you were like taking it, like really doing it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have incredible respect for you.
Thank you. I don't consider myself smart, and I wasn't too sure if I would pass. But what I figured out was, the hardest part is not the school. It's about studying after school, right? Because you want to leave. And I'd have to stay at the library. Otherwise, too many distractions at home.
Yeah.
Too many loud car stereos.
Yeah. Too many home entertainment theaters.
And the other thing,
The other key to your success?
Yes. No. Back it up. What was one of them?
You had to stay at the library, otherwise you'd be distracted.
Yes, and the other thing is I don't consider myself smart. I just would work hard when I needed to, and the key is to do your homework. And I learned that actually in grade 11 when I was failing math. My dad's a math teacher, and he says, he got a call from my teacher, right? My dad said, what's this? So he just spent every day doing my homework with me, and I went from like a fail to the next test I got an A, and I was shocked. But it's just because I never did the homework.
because it's marked improvement. You can see right away where you're like, oh my God.
So basically, you know, I didn't get A's in electrical engineering, right? I just get enough to get by because I knew sometimes I would even like revert, like I would look at like what the question was asked and I would go from the answer back. And
I think the government takes you if you get straight A's in electrical engineering. I think the government physically will kidnap you.
Probably, yeah.
And you become like part of a larger black ops team.
I was even told not to get perfect A's, or at least like 100% kind of thing.
This is what I'm talking about.
I like an imperfect
for the specific job that I got. Like there's like, because I was actually half in the field and half in the office.
Right.
So office people, no problem, 100%. They want to hire it. But when you're in the field, they like a lot of the people that get 100% or maybe like 99.9, they get that common sense question wrong. And I do have like a decent amount of common sense. And where I didn't, or where I guess I wasn't smart, I would get the other guys to help me. Usually it would be Asians. It was like a class of like 95% Asians, and so I befriended them, and I actually got really good at ping pong too.
They're like, this Italian guy came in here, and he seems to know a lot. He's like, he's scaring us a little bit, and he likes pinball. Yeah, that's good. I like that, man. Dude, Angelo, you're a really interesting dude, man. I really like the way you've put your life together, and you have a lot of varied interests, but they all seem to kind of connect back into this this love of like kind of wowing people. Really, it comes
good entrepreneurial spirit too.
Yeah, I really, and it shows, man. You have a lot of passion.
Thank you.
We really like that we've crossed paths. I know that actually C-Mart and I were hanging out on his birthday a week or two ago, and with a couple other people, and they were like all out smoking, and we were like, what should we do? And I was just sitting there, and the PS4 was just on the idle menu, and the guy had a pinball game on his PS4. So
yeah, I kind of wanted to mention that. Actually.
Yeah, so we played that. He like C-Mart was watching me just play that a bit, and we actually were talking
Zen
about
Pinball is the company.
It was called Zen Pinball. Yeah. Well, we were actually playing that, and then we were just like, remember that guy we met? Yeah, I was like, we should reach out. Yeah, let's see if we could do it. That'd be awesome. So yeah, look at it, and it turned out good. It's awesome, man. I want to play that Sopranos machine at the Met big time now. It's like, especially since we were chatting and looking at it before the show. I definitely want to check that out. I'd like to get good at this so that I don't suck. Maybe you'll text me a tip or two.
I can teach you.
Yeah?
Text tips.
I like that. You said that there's meetups and like events and nights, right? Maybe we could talk about that real quick. Do you have a set schedule of events?
I mean, there's lots of special events and stuff that you can check out, but
so it's we
do two nights a week league play. So one here is at just right across the Lamplighter, right?
Yeah, right. That's right. Yeah.
Wednesday nights, and I think from around 6 o'clock it's free pinball and a free tournament. So you just show up and you play for free.
Just battle.
That's awesome.
Battle, yeah. And then there's people that are beginners, some intermediates, and there's sometimes some pros, like pros and like legit proper pros. So it's kind of neat to play with them, and you're like, wow, like you get to learn a lot from them. And everyone's really friendly there, right? They'll want to help you. Oh, you're new here, like let me help you out. Do you have any questions? Or this is what to do. They give you the quick tips in each machine, so they're really great. And so the other night is another free night at Bimini's on Thursday nights.
Bimini's?
Yeah.
Where's Bimini's?
Bimini's in Kitsilano on West 4th.
Nice.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Good area.
Yeah.
What's the main difference you would find between like someone that is like a great player and someone who's just like a grinder? Like, is there something kind of, because like pinball, like the interactions are limited. Obviously, it's timing and knowledge of the board, right? And there's probably way more skills than that.
Yeah, I mean, there's nudging as well.
Okay.
But even the flipper skills, there's so many flipper skills. You can do drop passes and live catches and dead catches.
So it's like pure technique then, just like how you manipulate the ball.
But actually, if you're talking about points and in tournaments, it's actually about learning the game, learning the rules of the game, because it's kind of like a strategy game. And there's a risk reward in a lot of the games. And like I could take 5 shots and you can take 100, and if I know the 5 shots to take, I could actually easily get more than you. Yeah. Right? Just totally. Like literally. And it's all about.
So it just really knows, you gotta know the table.
Knowing the machine.
Nice.
Yeah, that's very important.
That's crazy.
Helps if you own them. You have a lot of back knowledge. No, just kidding.
That's true. It does.
Yeah, that's true. I want to make sure everyone checks out. What's the name of the league? You can check out these 2 nights.
The best is actually just to look on Facebook. We have a generic pinball. It's called Quest for the GC. It's Pinball Quest for the GC. GC means Grand Champion.
Okay.
Right. So the whole thing started is you're supposed to, if you do really well on a machine, there's one first, second, third, fourth, and the top is the Grand Champions. You take a picture of it and you post it.
Nice.
So it's Quest for the GC on Facebook, and right now I think they're called Mary Mac's Whopper Wednesdays, which is the Wednesday thing. We call them Whoppers because they're world ranking pinball points. So when you play in these tournaments, you're going to be world ranked.
Oh, you get ranked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
Wolf,
must have been
friend of the show.
Yeah.
Wolf's talked about this.
Wolf was on the
around.
show and he
Yeah.
was like saying he was some rank, and I was like, that sounds made up. He's like, I'm telling you right now, that is definitely my ranking. I was like, all right, well, cool then, Wolf. It's glad I didn't know I did.
He does decent.
He does pretty
as
well,
far as I
yeah.
know.
I think he does pretty rad. I'm into that, dude. I think we're gonna come check it out.
Yeah.
I don't see why not, because that sounds fun, and this is actually something I want to get into. So sounds rad to me.
What's pinball etiquette for beer in hand? Like, do you put it on the table? Obviously not.
They have actually these
A lot of them
these
now,
tall,
yeah.
skinny tables that you put. They're in between the tables.
okay.
You just put it up there. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, I've noticed
But
that
like,
a lot now.
when you see your own table and you see some person and they got their pint in hand, they put it on the glass.
It's usually too slanted, so they can't.
Yeah,
Unless it's a really
that's
old one.
fair.
It's
Do you know it's designed that way, maybe?
I mean, there's a foam that like protects it, so when it does spill, it tries to
Yeah,
prevent
fair
it. But yeah, I mean, after
I'm
couple
sure you've
months,
seen some shit.
a couple of months, usually when I open the coin, there is like all like old sticky beer.
Yeah.
It just slushes out.
It's gross. Yeah, it's kind of sad in some of my machines. I'm like, oh. And so yeah, I've got a couple new machines at my house, and it's like I want to just play them and enjoy them while they're crisp and new, before they get like sloshed in the bars.
Why
In the
they're
wilds.
basically whitewoods in
Into
there.
the ether.
Yeah. I'm trying to
That's
throw
funny.
terms out there like I know shit now. It's fine. If you'd be so kind as to just hang tight while I let our listeners know about an amazing opportunity, we want them to go ahead and check out floathouse.ca. Floathouse.ca is the premier isolation tank facility in the Lower Mainland. They have many locations all across the Lower Mainland and now in Western Canada, all over the place. The best thing I love about Floathouse is that it's one of the number one ways you can spend 90 minutes of your time. It's so tranquil. The tranquility and peace that you can experience is just, there's nothing like it. You're able to absolutely unwind and unlock the mysteries of your mind. Or you can just simply relax, enjoy yourself, and just contemplate nothingness. It actually is very zen in that regard. It's super fun. It's really good. You get your own private tank, obviously, own private shower, house coats. Everything is just provided for you. Even slippers. Everything's taken care of. Lots of really kind and knowledgeable staff. And that's my favorite part. If you have any questions, people want to go ahead and make sure you go to floathouse.ca. But if not, and you have the opportunity, stop in. I'm sure all the staff members there would love to just reach out and talk to you, especially here at the Gastown location where we've been doing the show for the last, I don't even know when we started, how many episodes ago?
Like 10.
I think it was 100.
Yeah, probably.
100 something episodes ago. But
yeah,
it just feels like it's a great way to spend your time. I like
people
it
here.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, and the people here are just so good. So make sure you check out floathouse.ca, and if you use our podcast promo code, you get 20% off your next float. What is that podcast promo code, C-Mart?
I podcast.
That's right. It's I podcast, and you can get 20% off your next float. Very easy to use. Very great deal. Very great.
Lowercase I podcast.
That's right. And 20% off. Amazing. Go to floathouse.ca. If people are so inclined, Angelo, how can people follow you? How can they follow the happenings of Pinball Vancouver?
My website is pinballvancouver.com. So
Amazing.
they can check me out there. They can also just look on that on Facebook. I have my own page there. I probably don't update my Instagram as much as I should, but I'm on there as well.
That's good. I think you're a little busy. I think you're doing some stuff, so it's okay. It's fine. Are you usually present for the league nights then?
Usually not.
Usually not.
Working.
Yeah, I would imagine. That's what I was thinking. I was
Fixing bullshit, I'm
yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
making it possible for you to play League Night. If you guys are listening and you like the content you've heard today in this episode, make sure you definitely go ahead and check out Angelo and Pinball Vancouver. Also, in addition to that, if you like this episode and maybe you're a new listener, maybe you're a pinball enthusiast and you didn't know what the hell you're getting into, but you kind of like the episode, we love it if you go ahead and subscribe to our show. We're available on iTunes and YouTube and Stitcher, and this show is full video broadcast. If you're listening to an audio version, we actually have full video of this available as well as a clip. And you feel free to join our episode discussion group, where that is actually exclusively on Facebook. However, we are on all social media, so if you hit us up, we're more than likely to chat and tell you something nice about yourself. How about that? Not many shows will guarantee you a nice compliment, but I'm starting one right now.
Guaranteeing that?
Yeah, I'll probably forget about it by the
Weird.
time someone will hit me up and be like, tell me something nice. We're like, tell you something nice. Nah, but seriously,
already walking it back.
Yeah, exactly. But if you want to listen to previous episodes, you go to intergalacticinterviews.com. Very easy, very simple, straightforward.
You should put some links. Sorry.
In the thing
to the pinball nights.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've been throwing comments in the comments of the YouTube.
I'm saying it as a reminder to you.
I know. I know. But hey, Angelo, thank you for doing this, especially on very short notice. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. It was a pleasure to talk. I wish we had more time.
Dude, I feel like we just scratched the surface, but
I can talk a lot more about pinball.
I do feel like
I don't know if I believe that.
Yeah, I do feel 1% smarter. I do now. I know a couple terms.
I got a lot more questions about like various pinball specific games. I don't know. Anyway,
it's good. Don't worry. We'll get
bonus
back into
content.
it.
Yeah,
absolutely. Well, we'll figure this out. It's good. That being said, though, thank you very much for listening, guys, and we love you. We'll see you all next week. Bye. Awesome.